Welcome. How's everyone today? Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy 2 days past tax day. Hopefully, tax season went smoothly for everybody. It's one of those stressful times of year. It can be, even if you're getting money back, it's stressful trying to get everything put together. Um, so, advice for those of you selling on Whatnot, try and have a system where as you go, you're keeping track of everything so that when it's tax time, you just hand it over. So you have everything all in one place, all organized, all on some kind of spreadsheet. That's the ideal. Even then, you usually, have a document that you can't find, or something didn't arrive, or you misplaced, or. So yeah, do the best you can to um yeah. So that's something, something you've been thinking about as you're going to look to be a solution. Yeah. So my advice is, well, first of all, um you have to make a certain amount of money for it to matter, but um once you start selling, you just need to keep track of everything. So what you spend, the trips you make, the sourcing you do, you need to be thoughtful about um, all of the things that you use, because it matters to a 1099 small business. You have to keep track of everything so it's easier during tax season. There's different things you can do. I would just, there's actually software now that's built directly to integrate with using Whatnot. I personally don't use one because I'm kind of anal about, I don't like other people's setups, and I don't like to be boxed in to how someone does their record keeping on something. And so I kind of just do my own thing. But you can download your stats. And honestly, it's just more about, you know, you get a 1099. I don't know that you really have to do a lot of downloading from Whatnot, um, but have a spreadsheet where you enter, what you buy, what your cost of goods was, and then, just all of your expenses. And if you just do it on, a regular basis as you go, then it's just all there. That makes sense. So, and then my second advice is, please find an accountant to do your taxes who knows how to do small business, and especially 1099 income, so that you can have someone that can really go through what you do. They understand it, and they're going to be able to really help you, because our accountant has saved us thousands of dollars because he knows how to do it. Because all of them just use software, they just plug numbers into software. But if they don't know the intricacies of a small business and what they should be plugging in, you are going to overpay. So make sure you have an accountant that knows small business. 1099. And that's really all I want to say about that. Because I don't like to give advice about finances and about taxes, because everybody's situation is different. You need to do the research in your state, in your area. Some areas you have to pay local taxes. Some states have different rules. Everybody's situation is different. You may have income from multiple streams. I can't really give advice So you have to really do your own research and figure it out and make sure you have everything set up. Okay, so last night we did a show. It was pretty slow. I don't know, maybe it was a bad night, but we had a show where we talked about social media. It was our monthly community support show. Bert and I were in front of the camera. If you missed it and want to rewatch it, we just talked about using social media to help grow your business on Whatnot. Um, and I did provide this outline that I'm pinning right now. So you can tap that and screenshot it. It's called Branching Out, Grow as You Go. My mantra, my theme for that show was when you start selling and growing a business, especially if you didn't do it at it all before or didn't already have any kind of social media presence, I think a lot of people get scared by social media, get overwhelmed with what can I do on social media. And I feel like the best advice is just, grow as you go, start building your social media as you go, because it can be totally overwhelming to think that you need to go out there and suddenly become, you know, a YouTube star or something. That's not true. You just grow with the growth of your business, and you start learning how to use social media. You experiment with what's going to work, and all that. And this document kind of gives you all the fancy words of how to, brainstorm and think through all the different things you need to do. And I used a tree because I was thinking about, when you start a little endeavor like this, it's like planting a little sapling in the ground. And no matter what size that little tree is, it has a trunk and it's starting branches. And that trunk is represents your core values, your core of what you want to do and how you're going to present yourself. And that helps build your brand, your narrative, what you're going to be as a business. And so, and then you start branching out and doing other things, networking, reaching out, you know, engaging, leveraging, all those things. So, yeah, just take a look at that. It's really just to help you brainstorm and think about, what you need to be doing as you grow to start branching out and doing more things. And then last night we talked about multicasting. Um, so the platform already has built in, when you go live, if you set it up, you can multicast on both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. So right now, this show is being broadcast live on both Facebook and YouTube, and it helps you reach a broader audience, no matter what you're doing. Because people, even the people who already follow you and already bookmark your shows on Whatnot, can incidentally be on Facebook or on YouTube, and it will pop up because they follow you there too. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, she's live. And it'll remind them to come on over. Okay. They don't buy from Facebook or YouTube, it just shows your stream. You're just streaming there. And then there's a QR code on the live stream that they can click that will bring them over to Whatnot. And then if they're not already signed up on Whatnot, it brings them to sign up. If they're already signed up, it just pulls them into the show. Yeah, it just invites them over. All right. Trish says, I apologize if I've already asked you about this. Which device is easiest to do your shipping from? A laptop or a PC? you need the web version of the software to do your shipping accurately. You can print labels from mobile, but that's all you can do is print them. You can't go in and edit anything on the orders. So, in order to properly do your shipping, you need to have a laptop or a PC with the software open, with the app open to the shipping in the Seller Hub. And then you get the shipping screen and you can modify things as needed. You're welcome. All right. So yeah, and if you want to rewatch last night's show, just go to my YouTube, which is in the show notes, and you can rewatch it. It will be in the live streams. So you go to my YouTube account, and then under lives, it will be the most recent show besides this one. All right, welcome in. Please read the show notes. If you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark, comments that you want me to read, etc. And welcome. All right, everybody in chat, tell me what category you sell in or are thinking of selling in. So tell me in chat what category or type of items you're wanting to sell or sell in. So we have two fabrics, not a surprise, fabric and vintage. What else? What else are you guys? What other categories? We've got lots of fabric, and handmade. Dory says that's her dilemma. Okay. So Dory has a dilemma of what you want to sell. Vintage decor, jewelry, toys, possibly clothing. Vintage decor. Okay. Welcome in, Kaiser, Lake Dad. Tell us, we're telling what we sell or what categories we want to sell in. How well does handmade items? Handmade is tough. Handmade is tough everywhere, even on the platforms made for handmade. Just because, you kind of have to, it's not easy to scale handmade, and handmade has a niche. It's a very niche category for, trying to market what you make. So, can it be done successfully? Heck yeah. But you have to have the right items at the right time, and you have to know how to market it. The people who are being successful in handmade right now, let me see if you guys can tell me the handmade makers right now that are making things that are successful. What have you seen out there that people are making that are blowing up? Colorful, fun, secondhand. Yes, they're taking hoodies and sweatshirts and vintage linens, and they're making clothing. They're upcycling clothing and putting it out there, and it sells like crazy, right? But it's very trendy, and I think it'll last for quite a while. But you have to have the right um, type of things that people want to buy. They like the unique clothing and styles that are being put together. But honestly, I don't, and there are a few sellers on Whatnot doing it, but honestly, the ones that are doing it are selling it on their own through other social media. And not to diss Whatnot, but why would you want Whatnot to take some of your profit if you're already doing it somewhere else and you get to keep all the profit? So, think of it that way. But most of the handmade sellers mix it in with other things. But there are handmade sellers who are doing well on the platform. So it can be done. You just have to find the right combination and mix of things. You're welcome. GA 1986 says, new, not started yet learning, want to get rid of 20 years of my stuff to minimize my life and sell my home. So what kind of stuff do you have? And let's see what to start with. Jewelry, press on nails, jewelry making supplies, beaded pens. Yeah, so honestly, the thing is, just start. Because the longer you wait and the longer you sit there and try to figure out what's going to work, the more opportunity you've missed. So just start. Just start. And, you know, maybe just start with destashing some stuff that you bought so long ago. You don't even care that much about how much you make on it. You just want to get it gone and do some kind of strategy to, and I'm not saying lose your shorts. I'm just saying use that to help you learn how to use the platform. So go on, start selling it, market it nicely, present it nicely, show what you can make with it. That's so huge. When you're selling supplies of any sort, you can paint the picture of what you can do with this, and people will be much more excited about buying it than just showing it and being like, okay, here's some beads, or okay, here's some jewelry supplies. But if you're showing what can be made with it and how it can be put together and what you can do with it and all of that stuff, it just enhances it so much better. And people will be more willing to buy it because then they get excited about what they can do with it. Does that make sense? So always upsell what you can do with it, how it works, what it does, all that stuff. Okay. And I would even go as far as to say, do some demos along with sell kits. Kits sell really well. Putting together bundles. Bundles are so much better than individual items in a lot of cases. But it has to be carefully curated. It has to be a bundle that makes sense, that people can see the vision. Does that make that coming through? I'm just trying to explain, that if you have a group of items and people can see, oh, this is a good value because, I get this many out of it. Hey, 3 heart, welcome in. Like it, swipe, it's in the house. How are you today? So yeah, just really painting the picture, the big picture. I've given this scenario before. It's kind of like in real estate, where when people go to view a home, there's a bunch of different strategies that realtors use to sell that home, and it's different for every property. If it's a rundown kind of as is type of property, they often will say completely empty it out and let people come in and be able to have a blank slate to see what they can do with it. If it's a nicer home and it needs, to have them paint the picture, they're going to really declutter and stage it. There's just different strategies, but it helps people to see the big picture. So 3 Heart says, I'm brand new, signed up to sell a day ago and hope to go live tomorrow evening. Well, awesome. Way to hit the road running. Tell us what you're going to sell. Do you have a show on your profile that we can bookmark already? Because the key on this platform is you have to have shows scheduled. That is how you are found. So everybody click on 3 heart that I just pinned in chat. Let me see if my finger can work here. Let's get you followed. Here's profile. Boom. Signed up. Already have shows on. Look at the thumbnails. Okay, is this someone who is dragging their feet? No. This is someone who has a plan, who has a strategy. Please bookmark their upcoming shows. Your thumbnails look amazing. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows already ready to bookmark. Way to go. Okay. And then I'm looking, you already have some things listed so people can have maybe a little bit of an idea. I would definitely put some information in your profile here to give people an idea of what you're going to be selling. Okay. A little bit of information. So yeah, love it. So let's see. The categories are women's contemporary, and you're doing closet clear out, giveaway deals. And I like that you put first show as your title. People love to check out new sellers. When you first go live, always do that. Put first show, second show, you know, first show continued, whatever you want to do, because people love to come and check out new sellers. That's a good strategy. Okay. So welcome and best of luck. All right, let's see. Who I was looking to see if anyone else commented. So read the show notes, and if you have something you want me to respond to, put a question mark in it. So even if it's not a question, so it shows up in bold. Let's see. Lake Dad says we have 4 shows scheduled and have done 3. Tell us how they've gone. So everyone pull up Lake Dad, Kaiser Creations. How have they gone? And here's their schedule. So they're doing seersucker, threads of a lifetime estate sale, flannel, canvas. I love that you're doing theme curated shows. I think that helps a lot because you're going to get the people who are more focused on what you're selling and want to buy versus just the looky-loos. When you're selling in a category that's, kind of crafty, arty, whatever, be specific as much as you can about what you're going to be selling. Curate your shows, and your audience, even if it's a little bit smaller, will be focused on buying what you're selling. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Robin says, can you show how to pull up I'm brand new? Yeah, so you just click someone's name. So I just pulled up Lake Dad 2. So you just tap on their name and it's like a link, and then it pulls up this menu, and then you can view their profile. So that's how you do anything with, when you pull up that menu, it gives you view profile, message, mention, allow to moderate, invite to co-host, remove, and block. It gives you all those options to do with that person. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Yes, walking and talking. I don't walk super fast. I'm one of those slow, fat burning walkers because they've proven that if you walk slow or at a good clip, that it actually burns more fat than running. So that's my excuse. I don't run. I hate running. So let's see. Can we do a jewelry show one week and then a fabric show the next? You can do whatever you want. This platform, there's very few limits. There's a few categories that are gated, meaning you have to have special permission to sell in those categories. One of them is luxury handbags. One of them is the high end shoes, the collectible shoes. You do have to have been a seller for a certain amount of time before they allow you to do card breaks. But other than that, you can sell whatever you want as long as it's within terms of service. There's certain types of items you can't sell, like live animals, weapons, um, expired food, expired makeup. What else? Um, Things that are logoed with questionable stuff like Nazi or things like that would be considered. So go read the terms of service. Most people don't sell any of that stuff anyway, you know. So there's a few things. Okay. Does your intro need to be long? No. I mean, this is my personal opinion, but I like a bulleted, shorter intro that tells me a lot without having to read 3 paragraphs. So that's kind of my preference. Some people like to know a little bit more, maybe, but if you just go look out at other sellers' intros that are successful and kind of get an idea of what, 'cause sweet and short, but gives a lot of information to give people kind of an idea of who you are and what you're going to have and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Can you block a person who is nasty on your live show? In other words, a viewer? Yes, absolutely. So you just click their name, and so that it doesn't pick on anyone else that didn't ask that question, I'm going to click your name. So here's Deborah. And if Deborah was being nasty in the chat, I pull this up. It's the very second to last thing in there. You can block them. You can also, if you feel like maybe it's someone who's just having a bad day, you can remove them from the show and it will kick them out of the show and they won't be able to come back into that show, but it doesn't permanently block them from ever coming into a show again. So it's kind of like a warning, like, I'm removing you from the show. If you come back, don't do that same crap again or I'll block you. It kind of sends that message without saying anything. The whole time I've been on this platform, I've only ever had to block 2 people. I sell in a pretty nice category. Most of us are really chill and nice and helpful and lovely, and we don't get a lot of boneheads in here, so to speak. Yeah, the option is there. The one that I had to block, I was actually doing a seller chat, and I had someone come in that was starting to be um, like explicit and sexual and weird, and it was obviously someone off kilter. So I was just like, done, block. And I didn't even say anything. You don't even have to say anything. Just tap the screen, block them, the end. It's all done. So yeah, the fabric peeps are the best. Yeah, we play well together in fabric. Sometimes there's a little bit of drama, but for the most part, it's pretty chill. 3 says, do you think it complicates my first show being so new if I give a coupon $5 off your first 20? No, but the way coupons work, um, if there's no way to do, they would have to, if you'd set it up that way, they would have to spend $20 all at once, because there's no way for them to incrementally spend $20 and get $5 off. So coupons are a one-time use. If you put it in for 5 and they have to buy 20, it has to be an item that is $20. Does that make sense? Just telling you that, because it's not an incremental thing. It's a one-time, use it, lose it. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Just scrolling back. Okay, looks like we're caught up. So yeah, if your starts are $20 on a lot, then that's perfect. Yeah. And put it right in your show notes and tell people it's in there so they can look and copy it. And you can actually build a clickable coupon. Let me show you how to do that. So in your show notes, let me just put it at the top. You can write the word, and this is, I think it's only on iPhone. I don't know if it shows up on Android, but you can type the word, well, you can it's an HTML. You just put a backslash and the word coupon, and then you type the name of the coupon. So, like if you created a coupon that was, let's see, 5 off 20. Let me just update that. See how, and I mean, that's not a legit coupon, but see how I did that? So you just type the word coupon after a backslash and then type the name of the coupon, space and the name of the coupon, and see how that's clickable on iPhone. I don't think it works on Android. And then they can just click that and it puts it right into their wallet. All right, so now let me edit that out because there isn't a coupon. I don't want anyone, I don't have anything that would work with that anyway, but you get the picture. All right, so oops, I didn't edit it out. All right, so yeah, it's just backslash the word coupon and then space and then the name of the coupon, and then when you update it, it creates that little clickable coupon in your show notes. Let's see, 3 hearts home. I actually had a seller give me a coupon and I didn't know how to use it. You just put it in your wallet. So on your phone, the little wallet, sorry, I'm walking, so it's bouncy, but the little wallet, you just click the wallet. And then there's a promo code field right there. You just enter the coupon code there and then apply, and it puts it in your wallet. And then it will be used on the next purchase that qualifies. So like in her case, if she put in a $5 off 20, but she had an item that was less expensive, it wouldn't use the coupon because it wouldn't be applicable. So if it was a $10 item, it wouldn't use the coupon. It would just keep it in the wallet till they buy something that coupon works for. So that's how you use coupons. And it's a good strategy to have a new buyer coupon in all your shows because you always want new buyers, right? And if they've never been in your shows, never bought before, set up a new buyer coupon so that anyone new to you has an incentive to, use that coupon and buy for the first time. What do I think about the reward club? I love it. It automates rewarding your customers. It makes it automatic. So I love it. When they introduced that, I was like, hot dang. Because then every time someone comes to your show and they buy something, it incrementally goes towards that rewards and it's just automatically applied and they get coupons. And my personal preference for the rewards is do frequent lower dollar coupons that they can easily achieve over time because it's just a 3-month program. So make it very achievable so that they are constantly getting coupons. Because a coupon is just like, it's like it's like the candy sitting on the table. You want to eat it. Well, you've got a coupon. You want to use it, right? So it's dangling there It's like, use me, use me. So definitely when you're eligible, start the rewards program. The eligibility really isn't that hard to achieve. I always forget what the requirements are. I always have to go look. You would think I would commit that to memory, but alas, I have not. So the rewards program, let me just tell you what the requirements are. So if you just go to frequently asked questions or help dot whatnot. So the rewards program, you have to have, let's see, you have to have been a seller for, they put this clear at the bottom. Let's see. All right, you have to have completed 50 orders. You have to have earned more than $1,000. So that same $1,000 that everybody's trying to get to their first 1,000. Once you hit the 1,000, and you most likely will have sold at least 50 items, you have to have been a seller for at least 30 days, and you have to have a rating of 4.7 or higher. So that's the criteria right there. You know what I ought to do that would be really smart of me? Let me remember how to do a screenshot on here. Nope, that was the wrong thing. Okay. All right, hang on. Because now I just kicked myself out. Okay, so how do we do a screenshot? This is an older iPad. I don't remember how to do screenshots. Okay, not that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to take a screenshot of that one of these days and put it in my in my auction tab as one of the documents you can see, so that I will remember when I need to pull that up. Let's see. So, do you think a $5 off coupon would help people stay with $20 starts? Well, not everything helps, but I definitely think you need to have some lower cost items when you're new. Because when you're new, people are, people you have to build and earn their trust. And so having some lower cost items when you're brand new is also a really good strategy. So find some lower cost accessories, or something that you're willing to blow out for a lower price, and maybe have two different coupons that they can use. Because $20 is, even though that seems like nothing, that is kind of a little bit of a higher start item for most people on this platform. So, because people are looking for the bargains. And, I'm not saying that, you probably have some really, really nice stuff for $20, but a lower cost item will get people warmed up and build that trust. So definitely have some of both. Let's see. Yes, please put a question mark on your comments so that it's easier for me to see. Let's see. I'm in a dilemma because I don't want to kill myself with no viewers and dollar start, so I really need at least 20 start for my price year. Yeah, so that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. But have some lower cost items that aren't $1 as well. And I highly discourage new sellers from doing dollar starts. Because you do lose your shorts, because you're new, you don't have a big enough audience, you haven't built the trust. People are going to be like gobbling up those dollar starts, and you're going to make nothing, because nothing's going to get bid up most likely, right? Unless you have a very, very structured strategy that you are selling on another platform, and you already have a following that you bring over with you, and all that other kind of stuff. Dollar starts just, aren't a smart idea for a newer seller. If you see a big seller who comes on and is doing dollar starts from day one, it's because they have really researched, and they're, or they're someone who's scamming. There's also that. They're a scammer who is just trying to, you know, hit their 1,000, cash out and leave, or trying to, sell stuff for it starting at $1 that they don't even really have, and they don't gonna actually send anybody anything. So yeah, be leery if someone has no reviews, no followers. You go into a show and they're selling, I don't know, iPads for $1 or something, and you're like, this doesn't sit right. And they try to sell 1,000 all in one day, and then the next time you go in there, their account's been removed. See what I'm saying? So yeah, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Um, and yeah, if you do $1 sale, you only make, in the end, depending on, the rates for, because you pay the fees you pay are based on the total sale amount. So the shipping, the tax rate of where the person lives, and the transaction fees are based on that, the total sale. So you make somewhere between 33 cents to 53 cents or something, it's just not even worth your time for how much you make. So you use dollar starts as a reward for a raid, or as a once in a while buck and go, or you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I'm not huge on dollar starts. So when you're new, let's see. And there are some really successful sellers who built a following on this platform, and they don't do dollar starts because they're selling higher end merchandise, and they can't afford to do $1 start. The ones that can afford to do $1 start, if they've built an audience that will automatically always bid stuff up to the value, or they only every great once in a while accidentally, you know, have something sell for lower, they can afford that. And because it is exciting to have a lower start, it makes it more fun to watch people bid. Builds excitement. So there is a place for it, but only if you have the right product, the right audience, the right number of people in the show. You just have to have a lot of those things in place for it to really work. So, yeah. And I don't really want to go on with that forever, but yeah. Can I ask your advice with new eyes? Should I go with my first show flyer you see now, or a more fun insomnia mama pajama party? First show midnight. Let me look. I don't know the right answer for that because I don't sell in clothing. But I mean, if you feel like, here's what I would say to you about that. If you feel like that you'll get an audience at midnight because it's less crowded, that could be a good strategy for a first show, because you can at least get an audience. Because it's tough in your category that you're going to sell in to get an audience at all, because it's very crowded. So that might be a good strategy just to even get an audience in the first place, because you're doing it, at midnight, but if you're going to do it that way, maybe do a weekend show. So yeah, your show is scheduled on a Friday night, right? So that could work. So yeah, that might be a really good strategy. So, because it is tough to get an audience in certain categories that are really crowded. Yeah. So that could be fun. And we are heading into spring and summer, or we're in spring, heading into summer. And if you have some cute nighties and cute summer PJs and stuff like that, that, or just, cute flirty stuff that you could show, yeah, that could be a good strategy for sure. Yeah, midnight to 2 a.m. Yep. Yeah, try it. I think that's actually a good idea. Because otherwise, if you're just trying to go on at a regular time selling regular stuff, it's hard to get an audience. So Carm says, I like to see store bin items while shopping. That way I don't waste free shipping. Yes. Always have items in your buy it now. Let me pin a couple of my just really basic advice type deal things. So this is something I developed a long time ago, and I need to redo it and make it look prettier. But this is my top 10 tips for new sellers. I have it pinned. Tap it again. Take a screenshot of this. This is like the 10 commandments of doing whatnot that pretty much any seller doing a seller advice would tell you. So when I started doing seller chats 2 years ago, this was everybody asked these questions constantly. And this is the list I came up with. And it's just to help you have kind of a checklist of these are the things you need to be doing regularly, consistently to have fast, consistent growth. And you'll hear that word consistent all the time because consistency is one of the key words for this platform. You've got to be consistent with a lot of different things to make it work. So take a screenshot of this. Number one tip is schedule shows. That's how you get seen. That's how you get found. That's how people know you're going to exist. And then go live as soon as you're able. Start doing shows. Don't wait. Just go. Go. Get some things listed so people can see what you're going to offer. When you're new, that's so much more important than when you're more established. But even established sellers should have things listed so that you're continually attracting new buyers that don't know you and know how awesome you are yet. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. You're actually trying to go live 3 different times on the 24-hour zero commission Saturday first at midnight. Yeah, that's awesome. Why not? Why not make that a big day going live for the first time because you're paying 0% commission? You would be crazy not to. So in case you didn't know, this coming Saturday, they are offering a 24-hour period of 0 commission for any shows during that time. It's just kind of a slump time right after tax day. I think they're just seeing a little bit of a slowdown. So it's like, here we go, boost the shows, boost the numbers, offer 0% commission. You all should have gotten an email. That's another reminder. Please check your email that you have assigned to your Whatnot account. If you're like me, I hate email with a passion because it just is, no matter what email you have, it always ends up getting so much junk in there. So I'm really bad at always checking it. I just rather ignore it, to be honest. But that's how Whatnot will communicate with you. So go into the email you have assigned to your Whatnot account. Make sure you have it trained to go to your inbox, not to your junk, and watch for those emails from Whatnot announcing things like 0% commission on the 18th. Because if you didn't even know, it's because you didn't read your emails, right? Okay. Let's see. Anyway, if you want me to go through this list, I can. Those are the main things. Let me look through here really quick and see if there's anything that I just should say something about. Um, when you're new, you've got to stay live for a minimum of 1 hour. That is the very bare minimum. I highly recommend 3 or more, because the only way to get found is to be on there long enough for people to find you. Because when you're new, you don't necessarily show up in the top search, and you've got to be on long enough for people to be scrolling and find you. You can promote, if you're new and you are within the promote, they give new sellers a free promotion. Please take advantage of that if you can, because a promoted show will be featured high up instead of just buried. Yeah. Yeah. Well, just take a screenshot of it, Dory. Just click it on your screen. That's the better thing. So on your screen, just click again, and then take a screenshot on your own device. Okay. So you can take pictures of all those things. Because if you take a picture of it while I'm holding it up and I'm walking it, it's going to be like blurry. So take a picture of it on your own device. All right. Let's see. Let me catch up. $17.99 sells scrapbooking supplies. Buyers love max shipping. Should I offer max shipping even though I may end up paying just to keep customers? So here's my advice about that. Curate your show so that yes, you can offer the max shipping, but the way that you run the show ensures that you only have maybe 1 or 2 people that have too much stuff that you have to unbundle, and then you can use some of your adjustments to pay for those, and use the flat rate boxes. So just curate your show in a way that everything you're selling is mostly going to fit for everybody that buys, or you can even do, if you want, you can do shows where you do boxfuls and they pay $9.21 per box, and then if it's up to them if they want to buy more than one box full, just depends, But if you do the boxful show, make sure you have it set for buyer pays all, and then you have it set where you're using a custom shipping profile so that each box is one item, and if they buy more than one, they pay $9.21 per box. Okay, so you have to make sure you set it up correctly. Let's see. Let me scroll forward. Read the show notes, everybody joining, and if you have questions or comments you want me to read, put a question mark on it. Yeah, I'm terrible with email, so make sure you check yours. Yeah, I'm kind of a rebel too with that. It's like, I don't want someone making me have to check all that stuff. Can I elaborate on unbundling? Yeah, so if you have someone that buys more than will fit in just one box or one bag or however you're sending it, then you open their order and you select the items that need to be separated and you unbundle, and then it will create a separate order that you ship separately. So it'll create a different label. So then that person will get 2 boxes or 2 bags or whatever. Or another option is, however you have your shipping settings set, if you have them set for flat rate, you can turn flat rate off and then just give it a box size and a weight and send it ground advantage instead of priority or priority flat rate. So if you need to look at shipping information before you go live, take a screenshot of the document I just pinned. It's a document that helps you choose your shipping settings. So before you go live, make sure you understand how you're going to do your shipping, because the strategy, well, if you're new, most likely you're not able to um, offer the max 921 because they turned that off for new sellers because too many new sellers were screwing up their shipping big time. So the way to still offer bundled shipping, though, well, it automatically bundles, but the way to offer mostly bundled shipping for your people is to have your settings set for um, flat rate on both 1 to 5 pounds and 5 pounds and over, and then it maxes out at 921. But the problem with that is if they buy too much, then on the back end, you're going to have to use some of your 5 adjustments or pay some of the shipping to ship their order if you can't fit it in a flat rate box. Yeah, so then you pay extra for that label. It only costs you to unbundle if it's outside of what it normally, calculated for shipping, or you don't have any adjustments. So Whatnot gives you 5 free adjustments a week, where if you have to unbundle their order or change it from one shipping class to a different shipping class, it gives you 5 free of those. And then after you've used those 5 free adjustments, any other adjustments you have to make, you have to pay the extra shipping. So if that was set for 921 and that's what the buyer paid, and then instead you have to put it in 2 separate boxes, you're going to pay the 921 on the other box. Or if you have to put it in a bigger box and send it Ground Advantage, you're going to pay the difference of the 921 up to whatever the Ground Advantage rate is for the bigger box. All right. And then you also need to understand that there are limits on the size. So when you have so write this down if you're new, when you are selling or when you're shipping things that are 1 to 5 pounds, the box or package size limit is 12 by 12 by 12. It doesn't have to be exactly 12 by 12 by 12. It just means that when you take the number 12 by 12 by 12 and multiply it out, it's 1,728 cubic inches, or is it inches or whatever it is anyway. And then, yeah, it's inches. And then if you have a box that's 11 by 9 by 6, it's still under the 12 by 12 by 12. See what I mean? And then on Ground Advantage, so things that are over 5 pounds, if you're sending it Ground Advantage, the max box size is 130 inches. So that means when you measure the height of the box, the length of the box, and the width of the box, if it's over 130 inches, you cannot send it on Whatnot without paying extraordinarily extra shipping that are not covered by the adjustments. You would have to pay that no matter what. So people tend to not sell large, bulky, expensive items on here unless they have put it in as a custom shipping profile and the buyer is well aware that they're paying X amount for that shipping. It's built in to that. All right. So make sure you go and watch all the videos on the Whatnot Seller Academy, which is the 3rd starred bullet in the show notes. Go watch the shipping videos. Go watch my shipping videos. Make sure you have this choosing basic shipping settings um, read through and understood. If you go to my YouTube channel, which is in the show notes, under the lives, I have 3 different videos that are called Don't Sync Your Shipping. And they have a little ship emoji on the title. Go watch them. I show you all the things about shipping on the screen, how to pick your boxes, all that stuff. Is the Seller Academy on YouTube? No, it's its own website. So if you look in the show notes, I have 6 starred bullets in there. The 3rd starred bullet is Seller Academy. So it's a website that you just type in selleracademy.whatnot.com. And they have all these tutorial videos that you go through. It's kind of like, if you work for McDonald's, they make you go through McDonald University. Well, this is Whatnot University. It's their little tutorial school that you need to go through to learn how to use the platform. It is kind of generic. It's built to be just the basics for all types of sellers. But go do all the tutorials in there. Go through all the information in Seller Academy to learn how to use the app. Okay. Let's see. Let me catch up in chat here. Is there a cheat sheet for shipping? A quick document. Well, the one I have pinned is that one. And then also, this one will help you with understanding how the post office works and how to make sure you have the right label for the right package. Okay. Let's see. What if I take out a few items that can go in a manila envelope, not a second box? It would still need a new label. So it would still be, unbundling. You would still be sending 2 different packages. So you would have to unbundle those items because you have to do all your fulfillment through Whatnot. You're not allowed to send them something that you just take to the post office and pay the shipping on, because there's no way for Whatnot to know that you fulfilled that order. So you have to print your labels through Whatnot. Let's see. I came to the show later. So is anyone else here facing their first show? I'd love to follow and support. So anyone that still has not done a first show, say me with a question mark in chat in bold, so that everybody can follow each other and do that. Is there a quiz to be approved? I can't answer that because it's been too long since I applied. Can someone who applied recently tell Ann Allen? I don't think there is. I think you just fill out the application and whatever's on there, you have to answer correctly. The key is that you've got to have the right information. So everything's got to add up. You're going to have to provide, once you get approved, you have to link your bank account. And if things don't match up, you're not going to be able to sell. So you've got to have, all the correct information in there. And you do have to, show what you're going to be selling and stuff like that. But it's pretty, as far as my understanding goes, it's pretty dang easy to get approved to sell. Let's see, would it be cheaper if I can take out some envelope items versus a second box? Let me think about that. Well, because regardless, if the size of the package is going to be smaller, then yes. If you're sending it Ground Advantage and it's under a pound, then yeah, the shipping on that is cheaper than over a pound. But it just depends on what the people order and how that's going to work. Um, so yeah. All right. So Fabricing Finds is new. McDebbie is new. So what Jen's first show is tomorrow night. That's right. I remember you were getting ready to start. So make sure everybody's following and bookmarking these new people's shows. So here's So What Jen. And her first show is tomorrow evening. New bolts, vintage panels, pre-cuts, and notions. Awesome. And congrats on first show coming up. I love that you got so many shows already scheduled. That's the way to go because people can bookmark those shows as you start having shows. So have a lot of shows scheduled and encourage people to go bookmark all your upcoming shows when you're live. So Doll Clothes by Vicky, Betsy's Fun. There we go. All right. Three Hearts says I signed up 2 days ago and have 7 days for my $400 matching bonus. Yeah, they make you go live fast. So the key with that, I kind of wish they would give it a little bit longer just so people could learn, but it encourages you to go fast. And I think going fast really is a good strategy because the more people drag their feet and wait, it's like, what are you waiting for? Just do it. The only thing I would caution you on about going fast is making sure you know how to do the shipping. I would encourage people to do what's called a private show, at least one before you go live officially. A private show is a show that is a legit 100% real live show. It's just that it's private and it doesn't show up on the feed for public view. So you send the link only to family, friends that you want to attend that are going to come in and help you, give you feedback by telling you things like, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can see. Yes, your lighting's good or not. Your internet connection's good. And then you practice running an actual live show. And it would be good if you have people buy something, but it can't be someone in your house buying. It's got to be someone who doesn't live with you that will buy something and then you ship it to them. And it also allows you to practice the shipping. So I would encourage everyone to do at least one of those private shows before you go live officially so that you can practice all that stuff so that when you go live officially for the first time, you already know what you're doing. You already know that your lighting's good and all that stuff. Okay. So you've already gotten all that feedback. And let me just show you how you do that. So when you schedule a show, so here's the screen for scheduling a live show. If you scroll down to the very bottom after you've put everything in there, instead of a public show, see where it defaults to public, you're going to click private. That's how you schedule a private show. It's still on your schedule. You can see it. It just doesn't appear on the For You page for anyone else to see. And then you open that show. So you just open that show that you've created that's private and see that share button. You just click that, copy the link, and send it to everyone you want to attend. So yeah. Just Vintage Fabric, just rated. I'm trying to get used to your new name. Jess is so cute. She has the cutest stuff, and she makes the cutest junk journal kits I've ever seen. She sells fabric. She sells vintage. Tomorrow she's doing vintage hankies, doilies, and more for journals. Can everyone please give my sweet friend Jess Vintage Fabric a follow and bookmark her upcoming shows? She's adorable and she has all kinds of good stuff. See how many shows she has scheduled out. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good show. All right. Let's see. My treadmill is making a weird noise as I walk. Oh, it stopped. It was probably me. It was probably my feet. All right. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Let's see. So we're not whatnot train wrecks. Yeah, exactly. Doll says I have a stripe issue, but has nothing to do with whatnot. Yeah, so you're gonna have to figure that out with your bank and Stripe. Let's see. Betty's fun first show tomorrow. Oh, you're telling Betty that your first show's tomorrow. Yes. All right, looks like I'm caught up. If you have something I missed that didn't have a question mark on it, oh, your hand hurt. Yeah, you had, what did you do to your hand? Remind me, you cut it. I think you said, right? I saw that on your Facebook. Did you actually have to go in and have like stitches and stuff? Ugh, that's horrible. Oh, you saw hers and you're asking her. Yeah, okay. All right, welcome in everybody. Thanks for joining. This is a seller chat. Please read the show notes. And if you have questions, things you need help with, ask away. We're just chatting about different things. We have a few sellers in here who are brand new, having first shows in the next few days. If you're a new seller that hasn't had your first show, put me and a question mark in the chat in bold, and everyone can follow you and go bookmark your upcoming shows. So feel free to do that. So you're making tags. Oh, stitches to the bone. Ouch. I am so sorry. What a bummer. So yeah, prayers for your hand. Get well, heal up. And yeah, have help with the stuff that you're doing. How do I change my photo? Let's see. So the like your logo photo on your profile. So you just go into your profile. So let me minimize here. Okay, so you just go into your account. So just tap your account and then view profile and then edit profile right there. Edit profile. So you're just in your profile, edit profile, and then it opens up, the info on your profile, and see how the picture I have there. You would just tap that or tap the logo, either one, and you can change it there. All right. Did you catch that? Okay, so it's just account, view profile, edit profile. You're welcome. Here's some advice. Those of you who struggle with technology, you can't really do anything to hurt the app. It's just software, so just try everything. You might get yourself into a loop and not realize where you are. Just don't save anything, but try all the buttons. Where does this take me? Where does this go? What's this? Just start trying things to learn how the app works and how things work. Because I know if you're not real tech savvy, you don't understand the symbols that most software apps use to do different things. So some of the common things are like the little 3 dots. If you see 3 dots, it means you press that and it's going to take you to something. If you see the arrow down, press it, see what it shows. So when I press that, it's the minimize, create a rater, end the show. Okay, but you don't have to do it. Um, so just press things, see where it takes you so that you can learn how to use the app. But please also, if you're new and struggling with that, third starred bullet in the show notes. So here's your show notes, the little sticky pad, right? Click that, open it. The third starred bullet is Seller Academy. It's so just look at that, open the Seller Academy. Maybe use your phone to look at this and go on your computer to open that website and go through all those tutorials that they have out there for you to learn how to use the platform. Because I know it's hard if you're not super tech savvy and you want to sell. It can be very frustrating to have to learn how to use the platform. I've been reselling. I'm kind of weird for my age range. I'm in the 55 plus category, but I've been reselling online since 1996. So I started selling on eBay, and I still have an active eBay, but I don't sell on there very much. But this is the first time I've actually sold like full time on Whatnot. This is my husband and I's only income is Whatnot right now. But I have active accounts on other platforms. So don't be afraid to learn how to use things. You may think I'm too old, I don't understand, I can't use it. Yes, you can. You just have to put in the time to make it happen. Okay? And yes, they have a rehearsal mode that you can also use that is not a live show, it's just a dummy show. And you can go in there and you can just navigate everything, and it shows you what all the buttons do and what everything is. So do rehearsal shows as well. Okay. I don't even remember how you do those. Let me think. How do you do a rehearsal show? Let's see. Because I don't think you actually schedule a show, right? Someone tell me that's done one recently how you do it. It's been too long. The private setting is a practice show, and that's actually a live show. So it's in the Seller Hub under what? Let's see. Seller Hub rehearsal mode. There we go. So Seller Hub, Seller, you go all the way down and it's under rehearsal right there. Okay, so on the mobile device, let me just navigate that again. So I went to Seller Hub right there, and then the hamburger menu. And then I just scrolled all the way down and it's in the settings rehearsal mode. So it just opens up a live screen that looks like a live show, and you can just sit there and play with it. It's kind of like a video game. It's not real live, and so you can just sit there and play with it to see how the live show settings work. All right, thanks for that, because I was like, I don't know how to do that. I haven't done that for so long. All right, CJ, what about changing my name? I added my seller name, Beekeeper's Daughter, and thought I was changing my username, but it didn't change my username. Well, let me see what you mean by that. So viewing your profile, you added that as an underline under your name. So to change your username, you actually have to go into your account and request to change your username, because they don't want you to have any active orders that you need to ship before you change your username. That makes sense, right? you have to fulfill any open orders before you change it. So if you haven't sold yet, then you should be able to go in and change it. So you just go into, let's see if we can figure this out. So we're going to go into our account and we're going to go into account controls, I think. Let's see. Nope, not that, not account controls. We're going to go into, let's see. View pro and out, address, verified buyer, account controls, change email, change address, change password, preferences. Does anyone know where it's at? Because I haven't also had to do that. View profile, okay. Edit profile. Oh, username right here. So see how that has a little asterisk by there? If you try to change it, it's probably going to pop something up. So that's where you can change it. So if you haven't sold yet, you should be able to just change it. Okay. But once you've started selling, then you have to wait and get permission to change it until everything's cleared your account. All right. All right. It is getting to that time where I need to get going. Let me make sure I haven't missed any questions. Let's see. I like doing everything on my laptop. So do you think there's any limits to running a show on a laptop versus an iPhone, iPad? Actually, I run my shows from from a laptop as well. The only limit is that sometimes there's a lag. So between mobile is actually faster than the web version. So sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, but the web version for running your show is so much better because the screen is bigger and you have many more tools available that you can see on the web version to be able to run your show. So I also like running my show from a laptop. But yes, to me, the only down or disadvantage is that it is sometimes there is a little bit of a lag. So yeah. Let's see. All right. Any other questions, comments? So the main thing with what I do with these seller chats is I just come in Tuesday and Thursday mornings. I'm here walking on my treadmill. My auction tab is full of all kinds of information. They're just documents you can look at, screenshot, and then my show notes are full of information. And then you can just ask questions. So it's a place where you can come safely ask all the things that you're afraid to ask in other types of shows, because you really shouldn't interrupt someone's live selling to ask questions. So it's a safe place to come. It's a safe place to come and promote. It's a safe place to come and share. And I'm just here every Tuesday and Thursday. A long time ago when I started doing this, I was just like, I'm going to be on Whatnot shopping. So instead, I'm going to go live and chat with other sellers and provide help and information. Why not? Right? So that's what I do. So if you find it useful, come hang out. And when you don't need me anymore, that's great. Pop in and say hi every once in a while and see if there's anything new. I do try to provide, updates if there's anything new. I am part of the Whatnot community support team, which is a group of sellers who have a direct link to Whatnot community support team. And we have a way we can provide feedback and information directly to Whatnot. And they in turn give us privy some information that we can disseminate updates, stuff like that. So it's kind of a win-win. Hey, what goes around is raiding. Thank you for the raid. Everybody give what goes around. Here is Joan's profile. Give her a follow and bookmark her upcoming shows. She's got a show tomorrow, Friday, Stitch Express, Raid Train, and new Cotton Off the Bolt on the 18th. Thank you so much for the raid, Joan. Appreciate that. All right. And yeah, so that's what I do. You're welcome. And hopefully it's helpful. And, the thing that I felt like when I was new a long time ago, there were very few sellers who did anything like this. And there were like one or two that I remember that actually would come on and do seller helps, and they were invaluable to me in helping me get started. And I thought, paying it forward, I'm all about that. My background is in training, and so I love to, be able to help other sellers be successful. The platform has room for anyone who wants to work hard, for everyone who wants to do it, to be successful at whatever level you want to be at. It really does have that potential. So if you want to put in the work, you want to do what it takes, you can do it. You can. I'm in the mountain time zone. I usually drag my butt out of bed and get on here about 7:45. That's what time it's scheduled. 7:45 mountain time. Um, every once in a while I'm a few minutes late getting in here, and I'll reschedule it for 10 minutes later. Every great once in a while I have company or go out of town and I'm not here. But other than that, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, ask away. 3 hearts home. One last question about if something is allowed to be sold. Ask away. Mystery numbered grab bags. So yes, but you have to go read terms of service about how to do surprise sets, and you'll probably decide it's not worth it, because surprise sets have to be scheduled as a surprise set show, and you have to follow exactly the way that the rules work. It's better to do grab bags that you show live, because then you don't have to follow those special rules. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Tersman. Tell them thank you. All right. So yeah, go read the rules. Just go to frequently asked questions and type in surprise sets, and you'll get a massive migraine and decide it's better to just do. I mean, they're a lot of fun, but you have to follow exactly the rules, because it's considered like gambling, like a giveaway or a surprise, and you can't. Not a giveaway. I'm sorry. It's considered gambling if you don't follow exactly how it's set up, and in the long run it usually ends up not being worth it. So yeah. Yep. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We're going to go find someone to raid, and raiding is huge. Make sure you always raid when you go live, because raiding is one of the ways that you network, and it's one of the ways you network and share with the community and support other sellers. So I'm going to go out and see who is live in our category. Let's see. Let's go raid over to Cheap Girl Fabrics. I was in a raid train with her yesterday, and she's awesome. Does a lot for the community as well.